Okay, we're doing Global War 3645 summary video. Oh, sorry, just closing the door to keep these felines out of here. Alright, so we've just completed January 44, summary video of that, and we're moving on to July 44. Let's do a quick rundown on our incomes here. So the French and the FEC are down to 2, Australia's still at 7, the French and the Vichy are down at 2. Australia's still at 7. FEC's been kicked down from 14 all the way to 8. The Netherlands has been dropped down to 10 from 12. The Germans took the capital. Italy's moved up a couple to 16. Britain's still down around 20. Japan's up to 39. The Russians are at 56. And Germany and the US are tied at 65. Tech's pretty much done here for almost everybody. Everybody except for the US has wartime economy. That's why I got that tall stack there. Everybody's just gathered up. Russia's still working on improved shipyards. Germany got their free tech roll, so does Russia, so that's why they're still rolling. Maybe they can get long-range aircraft for the last turn, I don't know. The US is still rolling on this one. They need to get it completed before the end of the game, or they lose out on a victory point. So they got the rest of them. The rockets, long range, heavy bombers. They just need that jet aircraft one. All right, so that's where that sits. Let's go over things a little bit. I'm at the end of the last turn. The Americans had moved their Navy out to here, C-Zone 22. And the Germans had their Navy sitting up here in C-Zone 11, and they had a blocker in the English Channel. And they did own that piece there, but they realized that they weren't going to keep it, and they weren't going to be able to kill this fleet without annihilating their fleet and eliminating all pressure they could put on the Allies. So they backed off, using their transports and whatnot. They moved over their units over this way, most of them anyway, and did an amphibious assault on the Netherlands, combined with a land attack. And they did a land attack on Belgium, and part of the land attack into the Netherlands blitzed across into Belgium. All right. Germany's got a bit of a fleet up there. They got on that card there. I'm starting to run out of space for these fleets. They're getting too big, so I'm putting them all on cards now. So yeah, they got 3 light carriers with jets. They got 2 cruisers, 2 battleships, 3 destroyers, a couple of subs, and an advanced sub. Britain's got the same fleet there. However, on their last turn, they did build some more land units over there, and they have moved their transports back to scoop them up. And of course, the factory got bombed again, so that's why they're building all their stuff over there. The most recent developments are here, actually. The Americans came in and landed there. I'm not sure if this American landing is going to be strong enough to resist these German forces, but none of the aircraft that Germany has are going to be able to get involved there. So it's going to be a pretty tight slog. So Germany might just lose that one. And the British have these 3 transports here and 6 units that they can drop in to reinforce, along with the French. Oh, the French don't get the bonus from the bases up here though, but the British have this 1 transport here that could go 1, 2, 3 and drop off some more dudes as well. So the British could literally drop another 8 units down there. So Germany's going to have to get its act together and kick them out, or give up on any hopes of keeping Spain, and that would also include any hopes of keeping Gibraltar for the Italians. So the Italian Navy, they built these units here. I don't believe they built all these aircraft, but they placed them on this. So they got their 3rd capital ship. So So long as they can keep the British down to 1 capital ship or less, they'll have twice as many for that point. Or they can keep Gibraltar, Malta, which has got the units there, and Cairo. For some reason, I don't seem to have a patrol marker on Cairo. I had that probably buried. All right, so what else happened here for the Italians? Well, they went on a bit of a rampage. The stack that was here spread around. They took Eritrea, they took Abyssinia. This tank here blitzed through that with a mech and killed the. This became British when the Germans attacked Belgium, so the Italians have come on in here and they've taken the buck from the British back. Now let's move on to Russia. Russia took Aden, and Russia had a fairly substantial navy here. They moved in and they eliminated the Dutch, and they were looking really, really good. And then the FEC and the Australians here came in and they took out the Russians, and it almost seemed like the Russians got diced. They just couldn't get a hit, but they lost their entire navy. So now Russian navy influence in the Indian Ocean and South Pacific is eliminated, which is good for the British and probably for the Italians now. All right, let's see what's going on here with Japan. So Japan's moved took out a couple of British units that were there. They placed, they moved these units back as close as they could, but they weren't at a base, so they only have a move of 2, right? So from Sea Zone 85, they can only move so far. They could have moved in there where they have a Navy base, but that would have been the same distance of move as from here, right? Because they're just adding 1 extra space, but they're giving themselves the base bonus. The Japanese eliminated Malta and the rest of Vietnam here from the French, so they've taken that. Yeah, let's see what else is going on. Ooh, the Americans, they've been moving up. I've got them on the fleet card too. I don't put my transports on fleet cards, that way they're separate, so you can actually see what's going on. Because these transports can always split and take these dudes in different directions. They tend to be the most, the least together. So yeah, last turn the U.S. took the Marshalls. This turn they took the Carolines. It's not worth any money, but it's got a base and a naval and an air base, so they own that now. I put up a couple of blockers, and they don't have a very substantial fleet. They've got 2 battleships, an Iowa class, a carrier, a cruiser, 2 destroyers, and a sub. So really, if you add in all this Japanese fleet here, the Japanese could probably kick their butt. However, they're going to need to, because if you take a look at this here, the Americans have 3 more capital ships that if they continue building, they'll be able to place these 2 in the Pacific at the end of the turn. Right? So we'll see what happens there. And the Japanese only have 1 available that they can place. It's too late now to start one, because the last turn of the game they'll only be at position at stage 2, so they'll never get to placed. All right, so now Japan's going to have to eliminate capital ships and keep theirs. Oh, all right, so that's the main gist of things. So yeah, Russia's now at war with all the allies, not the Comintern, and Russia lend-leased a mountain troop to these guys, the CCP, this turn. So they now have the capability of moving out of here. Japan's gonna have to deal with that pretty soon, but they had to consolidate all this stuff down here first. Plus the Russians are moving in on India from the other side there, and they got a substantial pile of stuff over here. So yeah, even that, I don't know. It all depends on how the dice roll. Germany's got a bunch of stuff, but it's kind of far back. Russia's got a bunch of stuff, but it's scattered around. And if Germany's busy with that, they might not be able to deal with this. So we'll see how that pans out in the next 3 turns. And yeah, that's the summary video for July 44. A couple of big Navy battles between the Russians and the Dutch. Full amazing victory for the Russians. Horrible loss for the Dutch, and then the British Empire of Anzac and FEC just swarmed in there and crushed the Russians back. It was kind of crazy. Russia did really good on one battle and really bad on the next. I figured they had it won because they had more units, but yeah, the FEC having a commander may have made the difference. Alright, and yeah, I'll leave you there. We only got 3 more turns. Global War, 3645 is the game we're playing, in case you didn't know. Alright, I'll leave you there.